Chiefs fall 27-21.
That really sucked, guys.
Thank you for the expert analysis on that one.
Here's the thing. That sucks so much about it, Kent. That was the most fun I've had watching a Chiefs game in a really long time. That was the most fun I've had watching Patrick Mahomes play football in a long time. Going back probably all the way to last year, probably the Steelers game last year was probably the last time I had that much fun watching Patrick Mahomes throw a football. They couldn't stop a damn nosebleed.
A lot of the fears were realized, right? The lack of the pass rush, the concerns at the safety position, Shamari Connor on the field as frequently as
at all.
Yeah, it was all there and it was all exposed immediately. Like the Chiefs could not sort a switch release to save their life, and they were just.
Doesn't matter. Did it matter if they sorted the switch release? Unless it was Trent McDuffie, they weren't covering anybody. Like, let's call a spade a spade. It didn't matter who was. Brian Cook? Nope. Shamari Connor? Absolutely not. Christian Fulton? Nope. Jalen Watson? Nope. Jaden Hicks? Nope. Nick Bolton? Nope. Literally nobody. Like, it doesn't matter who it was. So, like, unless Trent McDuffie was on something they weren't being covered, it's like you might as well blow the switch release and just figure it out from there because they're going to lose the rep anyway. Like, it was a really bad performance on defense kind of across the board. I think the Chiefs, as the game went on, and I think it might have been at a halftime, did a pretty good job of adjusting to Ladd McConkey just absolutely killing them. And the adjustment was, we're going to take our one guy that can cover and put him on Ladd McConkey a few more times. The issue is that meant Quentin Johnston was breaking everyone's ankles, and Will Dissly became, prime Travis Kelce, and just not a good performance defensively. Offensively, I can come up with some rationale, some cope for why they weren't able to look great, and then some things that looked okay, right? Like you can come up with that. Defensively, I mean, give me a positive on defense that doesn't start and end with Trent McDuffie, Kent.
The run defense was pretty good.
Nailed it.
I mean, that's what's so funny is we sit and we talk about how the Chiefs going to stop the run without a nose tackle. How are they going to do it? Well, Amari and Hampton, 15 rushes for 48 yards, under 4 yards a carry. They didn't give up any really in the run game, but they just got absolutely wrecked in the passing game. They got spliced and diced. Tyler Conklin had 50 receiving yards.
Who?
The ghost of Keenan Allen had 7 catches for 68 yards. Quentin Johnston caught 5 passes for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, the last time Quentin Johnston looked that good was the Fiesta Bowl 4 years ago.
He didn't even double catch anything today. He just caught everything clean. Almost came down with a difficult catch. Like, the run game, the run defense was fine. It's just they could not, and part of the reason that the pass game, that's actually not true. It didn't matter what they did, but some of the play action stuff was really just cooking the Chiefs too. But so was the drop back game. So was the switch releases. Like, all of it was working. Everything worked in the passing game. Everything. It was 7-on-7. Most of the game was 7-on-7 because there's no pass rush. There was no pass rush. There was no pass rush. And I texted these guys about, I don't know what, early fourth quarter. I didn't text as much.
Pretty quiet today, actually, in the group chat.
I texted these guys early in the fourth quarter, and I said, we gotta stop playing Chris Jones edge. This Chris Jones, letting Chris Jones do what Chris Jones wants to do and pick his matchup and move around the defensive line. We gotta stop it because he's not good out on the edge. He's not consistent out on the edge, and he's on the wrong side of 30. Just let him get a quick win, quick pressure from the interior, or let him get double and triple teamed. That's great. I'm sick of the edge experiments. I'm sick of it.
Okay. So you're talking. I'm assuming we're here focusing on the final play here, right?
No, I was just complaining about all of it, and it manifested itself at the end. But the whole thing's there. It's a terrible pass rush. It's a terrible pass rush.
But Chris Jones, it was the most efficient edge rusher last year or whatever. He was incredibly efficient rushing from the defensive end alignment last year, right? And I understand why the Chiefs want to go back into that. I understand why you want to say, hey, we don't have a very good pass rush. Why not let the one guy that's good at it pick his matchup? I fully follow the logic and understand it. The problem is it doesn't work situationally. And I think that's the issue the Chiefs are kind of maybe running into that they haven't figured out yet. He's not the same guy he once was. He isn't a complete and utter like guaranteed game wrecker on any given play. You have to pick and choose your spots. And situationally, credit to whoever for the Chargers did this. It might have just been straight up Herbert. It could have been whoever designed the idea. I think when they saw Chris Jones at the end, I think they purposely went 4-by-1 saying, we might have an idea here just because they did motion over. I don't remember who the running back was, if it was Hampton or Harris at the time, but they moved him sides when Chris Jones was at the end and they went 4-by-1. And Chris Jones, not being a defensive end by trade, he is a D tackle who flexes out. I don't think understood in that moment that he no longer had the freedom of a two-way go. At that moment, he lost his ability to have a two-way go unless he is letting Mike Dana know that Mike Dana has to have contained because that's who was playing D tackle next to him. I don't think that happened, judging by the way the play went out. The moment Chris Jones took that inside release, it was just a lack of knowledge of the situation by a guy that was playing out of position. Whether you want to blame Spags for putting him there in that moment in time, you might be able to. But I also think, if you're 30-plus-year-old veteran in the NFL, you probably should have a better idea.
I think there's a little bit to blame to go around for both. I have more frustration with I don't think the edge experiment needs to be continued as much. I think they let him do it too much, and I think there's too much freedom there to do it, and I think they should bolt him a little bit farther inside more consistently. I think there's a little bit of blame on both sides when it comes to the third and fourth team play, right? The Chiefs are playing man, the quarterback, if you're not spying him and your backs are turned in man coverage chasing down the field, you can't give up contain because there's not eyes on the quarterback. And so 3 guys played a contain rush, and then Chris comes inside after, like you said, they go to a 4-by-1. He beats inside it. Great quick win, but no one is there to chase, and no one is there for miles because you have to contain it. I think, and there's a clip of Drew Tranquil getting quite upset with Chris here, and tell him to do his job because you have to be in contain there. I've seen a lot of people like Jeff Allen talking about you need to be in contain rush there. I have my frustrations with Chris on it, but I just don't put him in that spot. Don't put him in that situation. In that spot. I think they're leaning on it too much, and they leaned on it too much throughout the game. And like Trey Pipkins lopped him down a couple times in that game. Trey Pipkins, like they're choosing this matchup, and he didn't do anything with it. So just like kick him inside, especially when the ball's getting out of Herbert's hand so quickly. Anyway, try to disrupt from the interior. So frustrating. The whole thing was frustrating.
You guys were talking about handling releases, covering guys. Look, they could have covered him absolutely perfectly. I think Justin Herbert probably still would have found some guys because no one could rush the passer. They were blitzing guys too. Blitzers weren't even getting home. They made this offensive line for the LA Chargers look like the 03 Chiefs offensive line, fellas. They made this look like it was full of 5 Hall of Famers out here. They made this offensive line that was using the power of friendship to block this defensive line look like Hall of Famers. Yes, Seamus said Tranquil had 2 sacks. Those are blitzes. He's not on the defensive line. That's not generating any pressure. That is so frustrating to me that we come into this game with a depleted Chargers line where we talked about, hey, this is probably going to be the offensive line. If this defensive line is going to get after them, this is probably the offensive line they're going to need to do it with.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
No.
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter what they were doing in the back end. There are very major problems in the back end of the secondary. There are huge problems back there. But it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered because those guys weren't getting home. It was just a very poor defensive performance. Maybe one of the most frustrating Steve Spagnuolo defensive performances since he's been in Kansas City. Maybe there's some recency bias there, but I think that's the most frustrated I've been with the defense in some time. I mean, look, here's the thing. They're not waiting for anybody to come back from injury. They're not going to have anybody come off the IR for this team. This is the team. This is the defense. This is it. This is going to be your defense. Unless they sign Fred Warner off of waivers Who
Jabril
knows?
Peppers.
There's like
Jabril Peppers is out there.
That might do it. That might be better than what they have right now. But
definitely would be.
Our pets' heads are falling off, guys.
I mean, like we talked a lot about not being able to cover the pass rush, and like that was all bad. But like, I mean, the safety play was pretty bad too.
It was all bad. It was terrible.
The safeties were getting cooked. I wanted to specifically talk about the safeties because I think Shamari Connor is going to catch a lot of flack for his coverage in the slot, and rightfully so. He also wasn't any better at safety than he was in the slot. He was constantly late to ID stuff. Even the few times they put Hicks down and had Connor roll down into like the high hole, he was late to identify which side the first crosser was coming from. His eyes weren't in the right spot. And like, not that Hicks was a lot better, not that Brian Cook was a lot better. It's just, there's a lot of not good defensively, and there's a few moving parts this year, and you do lose a Justin Reed, and so maybe the Chargers had a really good game plan coming out and throwing the ball a lot more than you would ever expect any Greg Roman team to ever do, right? And so maybe there's a reason that all these things kind of happen, but to Tucker's point, like what's going to change going forward though, right? It's just, we're going to play better. Possible, highly possible. We have seen this Chiefs team play better over certain weeks and months throughout the year. They have gone to multiple Super Bowls. They've won multiple. They don't do anything but go to the AFC Championship game, right? They will likely play a better football game in the near future than they just did. And so we do know that's coming. However, the same problems we saw this defense that we thought coming into the year, literally every single one of them reared their head on all levels. And like, this defense looks like they're going to have to resort to bend, don't break, and offense, please save us, which is fine. We've seen Mahomes and this offense do that before, but I just don't know if they can do that for the first 6 weeks of the year, right? The defense got to put up a little better fight than this. You got to get situational stops if you're going to win that way. Boy.
Well, and situational football, that we saw how situational football was today. And guess what? One situation late in the game, things might look a little bit different here too. The 3rd and 14, maybe a little contain rush. And like, I don't think let me make it clear. Like, this isn't like, I don't think this is like an entirely Chris problem. I just think structurally we gotta think through some things a little different here. Like, I don't know if it's a little less freedom. I don't know what it is, but it's everything. I think it's just some decisions. It's playing Shamari Connor in the slot as much. It's, how to weaponize Chris as he sits today in this version of Chris. It's all of those things. I just don't agree with them. Do you know what the best way to keep Shamari Connor successful in the slot? Play Trent McDuffie in the slot.
Thank you.
But you can't do that because Christian Fulton's given up digs on 3rd and 15 to Quentin Johnson. Cooking. Like it's a practice out in Los Angeles in 2024.
You don't think Trent McDuffie wants to play in the slot? I think Trent McDuffie, made it kind of clear he wants to play outside. I don't blame him. He probably is tired of having to make every run stop too from the slot. Like, that's not fun when you're a corner to have to tackle every run as well because the linebackers can't get there. So like, I mean, I get the predicament there. And like I said, I thought they made a pretty good adjustment to slow down Ladd McConkey in the second half. The problem is that the Chargers just said, okay, that's fine. We'll drop back and throw it to anybody else. Literally raise your hand and you're probably open and we will throw you the football. And that's kind of what happened.
At least Justin Reed and Christian Fulton are making the same APY.
Well, speaking of Justin Reed, you see he tweeted?
No.
Yeah.
Justin Reed tweeted, this was like seconds ago. Jaden Hicks is a star in this league. I've seen firsthand what this kid can do. One game does not define any player, coach, or team. There are a ton of plays for a bunch of players on both sides of the ball to learn from. Thank you, Magic Johnson.
Sounds like Stanford.
We miss you, Justin.
Yeah.
I mean, like, listen. Yeah. Is that true?
Sorry.
Is that true? Sure. That's very true. I wasn't ever watching the game. I'm like, Jaden Hicks is the reason they're losing this game. Like, was he good? No. But I was never sitting there saying that Jaden Hicks is the problem.
There's another safety I was saying was a problem a lot more than him.
Yeah, I don't think Hicks is the reason